Okay, my number 5 is spine number 654. Alex Cox's Repo Man. Just look at this cover, my friends. Look at this cover. Amazing. First of all, I just love this green look. I love the spray painted effect. I love the skull, and I love this mohawk type effect that is also evocative of electricity or shock. And I love the map motif that you can make out in the front, also in green. This is a just a mind-blowing, beautiful cover, and it's just it's so great. It's so great for many reasons. But so this is Rob Jones, Jay Shaw, and Tyler Stout. And I'm looking here at the book here for this information. So typography based on the film's opening titles, art direction Sarah Habibi and Rob Jones. And this is, here it says, the anarchic design for this cult classic was a labor of love for designer Rob Jones and illustrators Tyler Stout and Jay Shaw. Jay's cover distills the film down to a single icon, while Tyler's gonzo hodgepodge seemingly packs the entire film into one drawing. From collages to cartoons to fake flyers, every surface in this package crackles with punk rock energy. Yes, this is exactly it. And look at that. The back is a continuation of the black. And you've got the Repo Man font, which is interesting because there's a different font used here, and then there's yet a different font used here. Fantastic. But when we open it up, we can see more surprises. Look at this. The continuation of this artwork into the inner artwork here is simply amazing, sublime, one-of-a-kind stuff. And the green, my goodness, there's such a beautiful, chaotic sense to it. The nuclear danger, if you will, of green. I don't know, there's something like that. It's I'm always thinking of nuclear or radioactive ooze or something, or just something like that has a danger to it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then you've got this artwork that's continuing on into the booklet here with the map motif and Emilio Estevez here. Just, which is continued on with such excitement, such pizzazz, and real boldness. A punk rock energy, yes. Bravery, yes. And sheer genius on every single page, the continuation of the motifs of the cover art design are in this book is just mind-boggling. You've got the drawings, you've got the sort of comic book art, you've got this handwritten notebook motif, and it's all wonderfully captured in this beautiful presentation. This cover art design here, which is so eye-catching. You can imagine just walking down the aisle in a Barnes & Noble store, the Criterion corner, and you see this cover, it immediately attracts your attention. Your eye is immediately drawn to this. What could this film be about? It is nothing but a zany, crackly, wild, just in-your-face film, and that's exactly the message that is being sent by this cover art. It's not just sent, it's being zapped into you. It's like a jolt of electricity just beaming out from this cover. I love this, man. This is so cool. I love this so much. Repo Man. And just everything about this, you just look, there are so many different surprises. Just look at the top here and just look at the top here and just look, examine. Just one day if you have this, it's just so fun just to look at this cover art and just see all the little details that you can try to make out. And I think you can spend hours trying to do that. It's just wonderful. This is an example of Criterion Collection artwork at its finest. And I have it at number 5, but I think on any other day I could easily have put it at my number 1, easily. But it just happens that today I have it at my number 5. But that's not a bad thing, because this work of art is truly remarkable. And it's so perfect for the film. If you, for those of you who've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. But oh gosh, one day I can't wait to talk about Repo Man, this film. I have so many things to say. I love this film so much. But anyway, but the cover art, of course, the cover art is simply stunning. My number 5 favorite cover art designs. Number 4. This is by number 712. This is the film Scanners. Scanners. Now, this is, according to the Criterion Designs book, this is art direction Eric Skillman, and the artist is Connor Williamson. Now, according to the book, it says, the cover for David Cronenberg's unsettling story of warring telepaths hidden among us by his fellow Canadian Connor Williamson is an appropriately disconcerting experience. Connor clinically dissects portraits of the two main characters and recombines them into a grotesque amalgam. So this is a really, really frightening piece of artwork, if I do say so myself. This is so chilling. I have to hide this from my younger son, because he accidentally saw this cover and he started to cry. So, and I felt so bad. So I have to hide this from him because I don't want him to cry. This, look at this. This is so just violent. And its violence is based on such a clever artistic concept, right? You've got this idea of, looks like two images that are being combined in this very pixelated sort of way, but also there is a sense of separation and also perhaps a kind of mind meld, brain melting, explosive reaction. And if you know Scanners, therefore I think you will agree with me when I say that that is such a perfect image to suggest this film. So this is Scanners. And look at this very bizarre, kind of campy looking font for the title, but so appropriate because it is a campy film in many respects. It is a sci-fi B-movie, but it's a very effective one. It is one that I hold very dearly in my heart. But it doesn't, I love this cover because it seems like it's not trying to pretend to be anything other than what it is, which is just a truly, I think, horrifying event in a very artistically presented fashion. So here we go. You've got the continuation of this black-green theme. And then when we open it up here, we see, my goodness, look at this. Look at this. Look at this here. And look at this here. Now it seems, therefore, that we've got the two images here and here that seem to be in the midst of some kind of violent process of combination on the front here. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then when you open it up, look at this. Look at this. It's like when we go deeper into the interior of the release, we go one level deeper into the body, you know? Isn't that amazing? So we've got the exterior here, which is a combination or an amalgam of the two characters, and then one level deep we go and we get those two characters here and here, and then one level deeper still we get a kind of inside of the body and the minds at work here. So genius. And look, we've got more of these drawings, which I think actually are really frightening. Look at this. That scares me. And look at this. My goodness, this is, of course, something that I think those of you who know the film probably know what this is referring to. And oh yes, here's another artwork that is suggestive of a particular scene in the film. And look at this. Yes, yes, very interesting. Ephemeral. And the green motif is continued on here. Oh my goodness, look at that picture. That just gives me the willies. Scary stuff. So, I don't know, I think maybe for some of you out there, this might be a little bit too scary looking, I'm not sure. But for others, I think you know what I'm talking about when I say this really packs a punch and then some. I love this cover art because it is a fresh take on an otherwise very well-known sci-fi horror film. And this is so mysterious and yet so very right on with certain iconic scenes in the film, certain themes of the film, and of course the characterizations that go on in the film. This is so brilliant. Such a brilliant cover. And it's so unexpected and it's so fresh, and it's a lovely example of the way that Criterion covers can just excite the imagination. I love this. So Scanners is my number 4 favorite artwork design. Number 3. This is a box set. So the box set is spine number 524, DVD, and it has 2 DVDs, spines number 525 and 526. Spine number 525 is The Only Son, and spine number 526 is There Was a Father. These are the films by Yasujiro Ozu. And this cover art is by Adrian Tomine, and art direction and typography Eric Skillman. So this is, simply put, charming and beautiful, and it captures a sense of a lost time, a feeling of nostalgia, this kind of perfect essence of family and the home life, and something that was quaint and idyllic that is probably not there anymore. So beautiful. This artwork is so beautiful. Now, I find it to be just a lovely example of artwork that is seemingly on its surface has nothing to do with the films, right? Because the films are black and white, right, 1930s, 1940s films. So this seems to have nothing to do with that. These are in color. But this idea of something that's being captured in these images, for lack of a better phrase, a kind of lost nostalgia, if you will, is really very beautiful. So beautiful, in fact, that I'm just looking at these images and I just cannot believe the beauty of them. And I love the simplicity. This font is so beautiful. It's very straight to the point, but it's a kind of font that is not, it doesn't scream cool, if you know what I mean. It is a very quaint looking font, and I love the picture here design, and notice here this red as it appears here. It's a very interesting touch. Now, if we look inside, we've got the DVD. So let's look here. The Only Son. Look at that. That is so simple and beautiful. It almost breaks my heart when I see it. It's so lovely. Look at that. And the continuation of the font is up here, but we've got this artistic depiction of these two characters sitting here, and the sky, and the emptiness, except the two of them, and then the background. This is so beautiful. And then we have here, There Was a Father. Again, here, the same thing. We've got the vastness of the background, but the foreground is, of course, inhabited by the main characters, or these characters here. And it seems to be something of an intimate portrait, something that is of a time that perhaps is no longer here, a lost time, something of a warm nostalgic past about it. Truly beautiful, and I'm so just in awe of this. Let's go back here to The Only Son, and let me just pull out the booklet here from the inside so you can see this artwork is continued on into the booklet, which is truly it's very beautiful. But then we have the color motif continued on, but then we have stills from the film, which is very nice as well. But it's not at all inconsistent with the look of the cover art of this particular DVD. And then let's do the same for There Was a Father. So we've taken out the booklet from the DVD, There Was a Father, and here again the continuation of the artwork here and here. But when you go inside, while the color motif is consistent, we have stills from the film that are very important, and of course they seem to be, at least in terms of design and style, consistent with the artistic rendition on the front cover. Truly breathtaking, very beautiful, and I think this captures again the essence of what makes these films what they are. And if you haven't seen the films, my goodness, I can't stress enough how important these films are for me personally. They are DVDs, but if you're okay with that, I would strongly recommend getting them. Alternatively, if they're available, for instance, on the Criterion channel streaming service, I would highly suggest that you take them out. But in terms of cover art, my goodness, this is, yes, my number 3, and it could easily be my number 1, but just so happens today it is my number 3. But my goodness, this is just one of the most beautiful examples of Criterion cover art that I've ever seen, and I will never forget it. The Only Son and There Was a Father. Number 2. This is spine number 432, and I love this film very much, but please believe me when I say that my love of the film did not at all, at least I hope it didn't, affect my judgment of the cover art here. But it just so happens that it's very high because the cover art is just magnificent. And I'm talking, of course, about the cover art for Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. This is the DVD, and here is the Blu-ray. So for purposes of this, I'll use the Blu-ray here, but the DVD is also very interesting. I've had this DVD for the longest time. I will never ever get rid of it. This is, my friends, so compelling. Look at this gold. Look at that. Look at how it shines. Isn't that great? And pink on gold with orange and yellow, and this great mirror reflective technique here. Butterflies out. It is so gross and grotesque to the eye. Pink on gold. Look at that. Look at that. And look, the title Mishima, it appears on the side here. Pink. Ah, it's great. And then this continues on to the back here. Look at that wonderful reflection. Shiny gold. It really is grotesque, and that is perfect. Absolutely perfect, because this is the thesis of the film Mishima, right? This idea of a composite of seemingly disparate and contrary elements that come together in this explosive expression, or this explosive interpretation of this figure that was Yukio Mishima. Bold, dynamic, and again, very painful to the eye. Look at this. This is really quite jarring. It is in many ways, it can be said to be quite aesthetically unpleasing. But I think the fact that it is aesthetically unpleasing makes it aesthetically pleasing, if you know what I mean. This is Neil Kellerhouse, and art direction Sarah Habibi and Neil Kellerhouse. This is just brilliant, and it seems to be inspired by the work of Eiko Ishioka and that wonderfully just out there color scheme that was employed in those the novel excerpts that were being depicted in the film. But there is also a photographic element, as you can see the picture of the various actors here who played Mishima, and also this mask motif, which is very important, as you know, for Mishima, as expressed, I think, most immediately in the work Confessions of a Mask, but also some very important scenes in the film. And also Ogata, Ken Ogata is right there as well. He is also appearing here. So, and again, this mirror motif just blossoming out as a kind of butterfly or flower, chrysanthemum effect, if you will. The sun, perhaps. And it's very apropos if we think about this and this idea of Japan and the notion of the sun and its symbolic importance. The gold, of course, is perhaps suggestive of sunlight, but it's also suggestive of the very flashy character that was Yukio Mishima, at least as he was depicted in this film by the various actors, but primarily, of course, by Ken Ogata, who gives one of the great performances, I think. Just a marvelous, magnificent actor, truly missed. I love the contrast here. Gold lettering, pink lettering, the back here, light blue lettering for the name Paul Schrader. Can you believe this? This doesn't work on many levels of aesthetics, and therefore it shines. And I mean that in terms of its reflective gold, but also in terms of its boldness and its audacity. And this is why I think Criterion Collection covers are so esteemed, is because they really push the envelope when they want to. And the envelope, when pushed, can lead to some really grotesque and odd and beautiful results. One of which is undeniably this particular example of masterful cover art. Neil Kellerhouse, Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters, my number 2 favorite cover art. Hello, so I was in the middle of editing the video and I realized I forgot to talk about the inside of the release to round out the conversation about the cover. So let me do that right now very quickly. So I apologize for this little addition, but just wanted to round out the conversation. So the gold cover is off, and we have the inside here, which is more revelations about this motif of Mishima and his face and the different masks. And here we have the continuation of this kind of Japan quality, perhaps, the idea of the flowers and red. The color red is very significant. And then it's continued on into the back, this gold motif on black, which is very fascinating. And then it opens up here into this wonderfully grotesque gold on pink, or pink on gold, I should say, with the booklet here and the disc housed in the case there. Really lovely. And then the booklet here is a continuation of this motif, as you can see. Open it up and we have the picture that is the thematic point used on the cover here, if we turn it on its side, like so perhaps. And then as we continue on, we can go and see that there are indeed this color scheme of pink on gold or pink on yellow, this clash of colors, and also a discussion of certain scenes intermixed with stills. So it's very, here's another example of blue and pink. So that motif is continued on. So blue, pink, and yellow, blue, pink, and gold, or black, or vibrant red. And here's another great still from the Temple of the Golden Pavilion section. Again, the highlighting of the gold, really lovely. And here we go. And the pink is right there. So that is that. And incidentally, just to round out the conversation, let me just pull out the DVD. So the DVD is like this. And then we have the booklet, which I'll get to in a minute. And then it's the same motif, but instead of, here we go, the back is there, but then it folds out because it's a double disc DVD. It folds out like so. And then we have the Temple of the Golden Pavilion actually divided onto two panels here like so. And then the middle panels are housed for the discs. So that's very interesting. But again, it's a continuation of the cover art, which is fascinating. And then the booklet here, which is like so. Again, similar to the Blu-ray booklet that I just showed you, except it's of course bigger because of the dimensions. And yes, a continuation of this color scheme and motif that we find on this very fascinating cover. It's right here for Mishima, fascinating cover here for Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. So now let's go to my #1 favorite cover art. And again, this could change on any other day, but as of today, as of my mood and feeling today, this is my #1 favorite cover art. And I must admit that I was thinking about this list for actually a long time, not just weeks, actually over the course of some months, in fact, because this list kept changing in my mind very frequently. But on looking back on that period of some months, I'm actually surprised at how little my #1 spot changed. And I think it's a testament to the fact that this particular cover art is, for me, one of the most brilliant examples, or in my mind, probably the most brilliant example of Criterion suggesting something of the essence of the film in the cover art. Here, I think the essence is captured in the most brilliant way. It's spine number 316. This DVD is, I think, as of now out of print, but it's this. Ran, Kurosawa's Ran from 1985. This is, for my money, my favorite cover art in the Criterion collection. And art director is Sarah Habibi, menu and package design, Lucien S.Y. Yang. Look at this. Look at this. Ran is, of course, the word for chaos. And you can see here the Japanese character of chaos, the character Ran, is actually written out in red in this wonderful splash. The splash of color is, of course, suggestive of the art of calligraphy, of Japanese character calligraphy, the way it is written out with the calligraphy brush. But it's also suggestive of this idea of chaos and the rush of color. And you see it almost seems to be splashed onto the wall, as are the colors yellow and red here. And then, of course, on the front we have Ran, which is the most commonly used font in the promotional materials for this particular film. But there's nothing wrong with that because it's black and it seems almost to be faded into the background in a very interesting way in favor of the splash of color that you see here on the white background. It is brilliant. And the use of red, yellow, and blue on white is very significant with respect to this film. Now, I won't go into any more details if you haven't seen the film, but just rest assured that this is so thematically linked with the process of the film and the characters of the film. It is just, it shows chaos. It is suggestive of violence. It is also suggestive of a colorful splash, a kind of creative outburst of energy. And I think for many people, perhaps this film, Ran, is an example of this kind of creative outburst of energy from Kurosawa at this point in his particular career. It's one of his final films, of course. But it is, therefore, in many ways, on many different levels, the perfect encapsulation of what this film is about. And if that isn't the mission statement for what a cover art should do, then I don't know what is. This is just utterly sublime. Perfect. Now, look at this. And I love this too. Before I go on, look at this. It's red, yellow, and blue. But then there's a splash of black here. Now that seems to me to be very significant. It's kind of a secret message, if you will. I don't know. Lovely. But again, we see the motif, the color design motif, continued on through the back here in a very great way. But I love, before I go on, I just love this too because it is at once very chaotic and you've got the splashes of color, but at the same time, it is very restrained. It is very easy on the eye. It doesn't seem too busy, if you know what I mean. There's a perfect balance, and then yet there is a great deal of chaos and imbalance. And the way that it hangs together in this perfect symmetry, if you like, is just something that gets to me. It reaches my heart, if you will, in a great way. Then we have the booklet here. Look at this. But this time, instead of the white background, we have the character of Hidetora, played by Tatsuya Nakadai, here on the front cover here. And then the back, look at that. That is the continuation of the front cover design. But then when you open the booklet, we can see, again, stills of the film, but then combined with this splash of paint, this chaotic paint motif, which is continued on here. Look at that. You don't just have stills, you have stills that are adorned with this lovely motif. Oh, my goodness. And I love, too, how the blue is used, how the yellow is used, how the red is used. Again, I think it's all by design because there are certain ways that color is used in this film. And therefore, that attention to detail with respect to this particular design is so brilliant. And also, I should add, too, that Ran, the character of Ran, is written in red. It's not written in blue, it's not written in yellow, it's written in red. So make of that what you will. This poses so many questions. It is so, it's the essence of what this film is. That's it. It's the perfect capture, the perfect essence of what this film is. And it is exciting, it is bold, it is dynamic, it is fresh, it is alive. It just invites you. It says, please watch me. And in fact, I'm just talking about this and I'm just so excited now that perhaps after I finish making this video, I will put this in the player and watch it, because just talking about this film and talking about this cover has gotten me so excited now. And I think that's what a great cover design should do. You look at it, you think about it, you maybe are maybe turned on by it, turned off by it, whatever the case may be. But the more you think about it, the more you engage with it, the more it excites, and therefore it compels you to open the case and put the disc in and watch the film. This is the perfect example of that. And without a doubt, at least at this point in time, Ran, the cover art for Ran, is my #1 choice. Okay, my friends, so that's it for my selection of cover art, the DVD and Blu-ray edition. I will one day go through the Laserdiscs as well, so please look out for that in the near future. And again, Please remember, this is my own choice. These are my own selections. I'm not proclaiming these to be the greatest ever, but these are my own personal selections, again, based on my own subjective approach. Your list, I can assume, will probably be very different from mine. And that's great. That's fantastic. I think the more variety in these lists, the better and happier I will be. So please, if you have the time, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments about your own favorites. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments about my own personal selections here. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please feel free to let me know. And again, Criterion Collection cover art is something that I appreciate being very important. And I think now that I look back on this video, I realize that I had actually more fun than I had originally anticipated. So thank you very much to Henry and to Lindsay for giving me the inspiration to do this. So I really appreciate it. Okay, my friends, so that's it. So please be well, be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Until we meet again, my friends. Cheers.